John McCain's daughter, Meghan McCain, told Kamala Harris to keep my dad's name out of your mouth. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter. I would say destroying Kamala Harris, or at least throwing her under the bus because of what she's been saying on the campaign trail. One story specifically involved her father, John McCain. He died a while back. RIP to him. And the story to Meghan didn't make any sense. She was like, that's not really him. I'm not really sure I believe that. Now, before we get to the video, I got to say one more thing here. It's kind of a pattern of people turning against Kamala Harris. Nobody really has her back. There's nobody really defending her. There are not a lot of champions coming forward talking about, oh, Kamala's my best colleague, and she was great in California. She was great as a vice president. She pretty much is this window dressing at best. I think DeSantis said it when hurricanes had been going on previously in Florida and she didn't call. It didn't even matter. I'm communicating with the president. We good. You got to beef with me, but you're not even of any concern. I'm talking to your boss, not you. So she's a useless person and an incompetent person. And I think the people of this country are starting to see it. Whenever she's on television, doing an interview, having a press conference, if she ever has one of those, whenever they see her, they don't like what they see. Now, before I go any further, let's get to the actual clip. Of course, I will link to the entire clip in the box if you want to see it and hear it without my commentary. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Late into the night, and in the Senate, you walk onto the Senate floor, and there are these big wooden ornate doors. And those ornate doors opened. And John McCain came out. He's going after me. And I'm going back after him. I'm going back after him. And that was it. And this is what the public saw. And then I step onto the floor of the well of the Senate later that day. We had votes. And I passed by John McCain. And he looks at me and he says, "Kid, come over here. You're going to make a great senator." True story.
Okay, now, you see the face right there, Meghan's face? She says, true story, Scouts honor, all this, that, and the third. Now, Meghan is like, I don't know about that. That story does not sound like him. Check it out.
I'm not thrilled with this because I just find that maybe it did happen. To me, it doesn't sound like him. And I tweeted after I saw it that I'm really just, for me personally on a personal level, Democrats really want to turn my dad into a progressive liberal that like 6 years after his death, he's now just the most liberal progressive that ever existed when he's one of the most conservative senators in American modern history.
Let's pause for a second. Yes, you're correct by saying John McCain on paper was one of the most conservative people. Yeah, you're correct. Right on. However, beyond that, he was a globalist. And that's what they're trying to link him to. They're trying to make him be some kind of progressive, some kind of just, fantastic liberal for the public consumption. But in reality, they want to try to claim what he has done as part of their globalist agenda, because it's all in the same. This is the Mitt Romneys and people like this. A Mitt Romney, so-called staunch conservative, who would say vote for the Democrats because they go more with my globalist agenda. Okay, foreign wars, money printing, all kind of stuff. One world currency, they all on that wave. So that kind of thing can supersede Democrat and Republican, especially and usually on the federal level.
It's getting to the point of being disrespectful the way everyone is talking about him, because I find so much of it, it just doesn't sound like him. And we were obviously incredibly close, and I worked with him both professionally and, we were very close personally. And it's hard. I don't like it. And I remember what he actually said about Vice President Harris in private. I actually was like remembering a specific dinner party was something he said, which
Hey man, look, Meghan, I know you don't want to repeat it, whatever, but I need you to repeat that. Okay, if I gotta watch The View to hear you say it, if you're still over there, then so be it. But you gotta review that, please.
I don't want to be disrespectful or uncouth and share it right here,
Oh,
but
boo.
like it just doesn't, it just sounds like not real to
Yeah.
me.
I'll ask you a question about it. You can pass, of course. Is what she said in characterizing what she claimed was a conversation with your dad, he said you make a great senator, is that consistent with your sense of what he thought of her?
No, not at all. And there's one thing in particular, there's one dinner that I was at with him and some other politicians I can remember very specifically something he said about her. And again, I don't want to like,
I need you, come on, man. Like, don't look, man. I hate when people say that. They get all around, beat around the bush, give you the outline and everything and say, hey, well, here's 85% of the equation, but I'm not going to tell you the rest. Nah, give me the full equation so I know what's going on.
getting to
Yeah.
some kind of
Yeah.
match
Yeah.
with the Harris campaign, but I just like he was not a Democrat. He was so far from it, and her stance on Israel alone would gross him out. So like I just and Afghanistan and the economy and the border, like and I also think it's just very strange that like Democrats can't get any other way to prove their bipartisan like bona fides other than bringing up a dead senator. Like, have you done nothing else in your life? You have this like obscure story that I've never heard her say, I've never heard, period. Maybe it did happen. Again, maybe it didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't work with him all the time, but like I've never heard it before. She never felt the need to share it before, except 24 days before the election in Arizona, when you're, for by all intents and purposes, from everything I've heard from you and many other places that's being reported, she's flatlining with independence.
Well, there we go. So yeah, shout out Meghan McCain, RIP to John and Kamala. I don't know what you're doing. Now, maybe that story was true, maybe it was false, but I'm leaning more toward false because at this point, I don't put anything past these people. They make up all kind of crazy lies. They do everything. I take nothing for granted. I don't put anything past these people. But as I close, I want to say this. Kamala, if you made that story up, that's low. But again, it's no surprise to me. And I'm not a fan of John McCain or his daughter Meghan, but obviously something's going on. I don't think most people in Washington really like Kamala. She had problems before, not just with Republican senators, but her own staff. She had a really high turnover rate, harsh workplace conditions, all kind of things like this. And of course, there's a track record attorney general in California, not a very good track record. She's not done very well as a politician. And I think the only reason why she is here is because Joe Biden said in public on television that I'm going to select a black female for the vice president. And then he did it. Same thing with Ketanji Brown Jackson. As a matter of fact, they campaigned on that. See, look at what we did. We put a black woman as a Supreme Court and the vice president. But did you pick a qualified person? There are qualified people you could have put in that position, even if it was based on skin color. But Kamala does not appear to be that person you should have picked. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on this whole situation with John McCain's daughter, Meghan McCain, and Kamala Harris, that story? Do you believe that story? The ornate doors open? I mean, it doesn't really sound real. It doesn't. And I wouldn't put it past her. They probably trained her to say that story, or maybe they were asking her about something to say, okay, tell some of that story, but then embellish it. They're trying to do whatever they can because the more people see from her, the less they like, and that is causing her to tank in the polls. But whatever your thoughts on the whole thing are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Kamala is going to be Kamala, and you're going to see a lot more of these quote unquote gaffes or, miscommunication, whatever you want to call it. You're going to see a lot more of these leading up to the campaign, and I'll be here to cover it. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that is all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.